Hi, welcome to Age of War. So, I know you can't see my face right now, but I have the biggest crap-eating grin on my face right now because this is my childhood. I have played this since I was in primaire, or elementary school, I guess, in other education systems. So, in primary, that's the direct translation, we had this, it's not a very specific period, it's like sometimes it appears in our school calendar schedule. That's like called ordinateur, or like ordi if you're shorthanding it, which is just French for computer, right? So we would have this over here, and occasionally we would just play games, and this would be one of them. So Age of War, you can probably tell, if you remember this, you have one base, one on the right, one on the left, you're on the left, and basically you have to send in units to build and destroy the other base. And throughout the ages you have to, you have to basically just advance your eras and all that stuff. And so yeah, without further ado, grab a cup of coffee and let's get going with Age of War. Normal. God, this is so nostalgic. This is so nostalgic. Jeez. Okay. Okay, sure, let's do that. And then let's just spam these guys. Because if I remember correctly, there is actually a strategy to this game. So do keep in mind that this game is, I downloaded an archive for Flash games. It's called Flashpoint. I do realize that there is a version of this game that is released on Steam, but that version is not the same. The first thing about that version is that it is inherently easier. So unlike the current version I'm playing, that one is drastically easier. It is not exactly the same experience. The other thing is, people don't actually know if the guy who made it actually received the permission of the I guess right owners to this game to really replicate it. So yeah, I'm just gonna do this just because. So it's sort of an interesting thing on Steam right now. So if you want the genuine experience, you have to download things like Flashpoint and grab the archive from there. So yeah. And of course, we have to wait until we reach 4,000 EXP, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 4,000 EXP until we get our next era, which is the Middle Ages, I guess. So yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There we go. And so yeah, I would basically just send in dinosaur guys until we win. That's pretty much the strategy for this era. Dino Riders. Because you don't really want to send in slingshots because they're kind of expensive and not that great, so yeah. Oh, well, yeah, he just got flung across. Yeah, that makes sense. There we go. Oh wow, he just got one shot. Yeah, so you can tell that these guys are extremely good. There we go. Grab a few buffers here and there. And then sooner or later we'll go into the Middle Ages, or the medieval times, which is just basically get as many knights as swordsmen, right? Get as many swordsmen as you can, and then that's that, pretty much. Really, you already have? Okay, sure. A bit rude, isn't it, for you to reach the Middle Ages before I do? A bit rude. That's fine. Alright. I'm just gonna wait until I reach 4,000. There we go. And now we have our castle. And now we just send in swordsmen. We just send in as many swordsmen as we can. And then as we save up our money, and that's when we send in as many knights as possible, which is a hefty $500. And yeah, the next era is 14,000, and occasionally I'm just gonna drop this just so then we get more stuff. So yeah, and yeah, so a lot of this game is just spamming units, from what I understand, if I remember it correctly. So yeah, there we go. So we basically just keep up the pressure for this until we get enough money to really compound and get knights. So yeah. And I'm not going to really spend any money on turrets just because they aren't really worth it. Until the last one. So the last one is an ion cannon. That I don't know why I can't say that word. But the best one, because apparently the ion cannon actually has enough range to hit the enemy base, which is ridiculous. So, and that is something that this should work, if I remember correctly. Okay. There we go. Let's send in the knights. And there we go. Oh, it's a tar. it's just tar. There we go. Alright, and now let's wait for our money, and then we'll just send in some knights. And then we'll just call it an era. Oh, you already sent in your knights too. How nice of you. Not that the tar really does anything, because they're just there. So, yeah. And then once we're done, we're just gonna arrow trap you. Not arrow trap, but it's like, oh, there we go. Night night. Nighty night. Bad joke, sorry. Yeah. So this was taken from Flashpoint. So again, if you want to play these games, obviously you have to get those things. You have to get like Flashpoint, which I think was around 3 gigabytes. And then you have to download the games by yourself and all that stuff. So there is that, but you can download the full thing for like what 1 terabyte. Which is so much, but it's worth it, I think, for this. So yeah, it is sort of interesting. There we go, and now we are in the Crusades, which is basically just get as many musketeers and cannoneers as possible. So yeah, it's really nothing that again, nothing. Oh, okay, that makes sense. You know what? I'm not gonna argue with that, which does make sense, yeah. Oh, you got buffs too, man? Why do you guys have buffs? You already have infinite money, you guys don't need buffs. What are you guys doing? What's the, how many? Oh, 45,000. That's fine. That's fine, I say. These guys have good range, what the heck? There we go. So we just spam musketeers and cannoneers from what I remember. Again, I have not played this in so long, but I just remember distinctly just spamming units and never using duelers because duelers are stupid, but I digress. Hey, rude. Rude, fine, I'll send in one. God, absolute audacity. Unbelievable. Why do you guys have a build? You guys should not have abilities. I feel like that violates codes. That violates codes. That absolutely violates codes. Poop. I'm so borked. Alright, I'm so bad at this game. Oh boy. Which, as you can see, look, it's been like what? 16 years since I played this. So in my defense, maybe I didn't try hard. I definitely did not. I was more focused on talking. I don't wanna. But yeah, that was Age of War. That was Age of War. Man, what a... Again, I was more focused on talking, so I wasn't really too focused on just playing the game. But maybe I'll play this on my own free time, just because this has been really nostalgic, really going through this again and all that stuff. And so it has been just such a delight to revisit my childhood again. So it really is like it really is fun just to see all of this again and just sort of reminisce about my childhood, all that stuff. So it's definitely nice to get this back. Yeah, no, but in a way, I do sort of miss this, right? I mean, a lot of games do like not just like the simplicity of my childhood, but in a way, I do sort of miss just, I don't know, the simplicity of everything. Things back then. Obviously, I am looking at it through like rose-tinted glasses, because again, right? It's really easy to look at the past and you're like, man, things were so much better back then. But things were simple back then, I guess. I mean, as a child, everything does seem inherently a lot more simple, which makes sense, right? But yeah, I mean, I definitely do think things back then were a lot more simple. There were a lot less. I don't want to say it because obviously I was a child back then, but I guess there were a lot of things that we didn't really need to take into consideration, like maybe like AI taking our jobs, which is an inherent like thing, right? Things like, I don't know, like I guess like there is like an economical crisis. There was one in like 2008, 2009, I don't remember. But there was that, right? There was that. So yeah, I am definitely looking at through rose-tinted glasses, but I'm just missing the simplicity of just about everything. So yeah, it is something that I do miss. But yeah, this has been just the ramblings of a nostalgic old man. Even though I'm not old, I'm not old. Actually, it's really funny. So I was talking to my friends, and we were talking about this other one. We're actually talking about like, oh man, there's actually functioning, loving families out there. Because I grew up in an Asian household, so everything was very strict and very business-like, right? Things felt more like transactions than they did like, I would say, like a traditional, how people would traditionally perceive a family as, right? So it felt a lot more business-like, and so we were like, man, that was like strict and all that stuff. And so he was like, oh man, as I met more people in my life, I just like not through those words, but like I met like my brother's girlfriend's family and all that stuff. He was like, man, I realized that there's functional families out there. They just love you unconditionally. I'm like, what? That's a myth. But apparently they do exist. And how did I get to this tangent? What the heck? How did I get to this tangent? So there was that. But yeah, right, because I was saying I was an old man. But then like we were talking about another one of our friends, and we were like, God, this other guy is also so functional. Like he comes from a functional family. And we're like just talking about we were just talking like, oh man, he's so much more zoomer than you are. I'm like, why? Yeah, I guess he does have zoomer humor. He is like, it's probably the trauma aged you up. I was like, yeah, probably. I think there was actually a study that like depressed people actually mature faster, but I'm not sure how legit this study is, so I'm gonna have to go and revisit it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go and look at all that stuff. But yeah, I've just been rambling all this time. But yeah, that's I think that about wraps it up for Age of War, for our good old Age of War, for our good old companion of Age of War. What a trip! What a nostalgic trip! Yeah, it's just been overall very phenomenal look back in the past, and it's just overall just fun to just look at all this once more, and yeah, it's great. It's great that I can see this once more. Because in a way, this did unlock like some childhood memories where I'm like, damn, oh yeah, that happened and all that stuff. Because another thing that happened during the période d'ordinateur, or d'ordi, I don't remember what it's called, but there's this kid who was looking for, I don't remember, he was looking for, so not all the computers had like Windows Vista, I think, installed, but the kid needed a Windows Vista to basically play Minecraft. I did not have, well, obviously, because again, Asian parents, business-like, we really didn't concentrate too much on leisure and entertainment all that much, and so he was out there playing Minecraft and seeking out like Windows Vista PCs in the computer room. I was stuck here playing this, which again, I'm not complaining, because this is honestly, like, it's so, even despite simplicity, I do think it's very fun. And in a weird way, I think the best way to describe this is Tabs, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator before Tabs. I think that's the, oops, sorry, I hit my mic. I think that's probably the best way to describe this. And yeah. Alright, well, I think that wraps up for me today. Thanks for hanging out with me. This has been Age of War, and it's been a good time. Sorry, I just gulped very, very loudly. I'm like, oop, because my throat was so dry, but sorry about that. But yeah, this has been Age of War, and so yeah, if you want to play this game again, you can download Flashpoint if you have the space. Don't feel obligated to. And yeah, I think that about wraps up for me today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when and where you are. And see you guys next time. Oh, I just realized I was in the wrong era. Bye bye. See you and take care. Bye.